Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Sam.
And I'm Erica. Sam, I wanted to ask you, have you ever met someone who never asked you a personal question?
Oh my God, yes.
And how did it make you feel?
I hate it. I think it's really rude, actually, to not ask someone questions, especially if you're meeting them, to just sort of, not have any curiosity, not show that you're interested, you want to know more.
Right.
I actually, the worst first date that I ever went on was with someone who did not ask me a single personal question. I had to say, like, would you like to know about me?
I feel like my back is hurting from carrying this conversation. Yeah, especially
Exactly.
I feel like you're being gracious asking them about themselves, and then when they do not reciprocate or show you the same graciousness, it's like I feel like you're talking to a wall,
Exactly. But I think that's not always the case in all cultures.
Right.
I think in some cultures it's actually not polite to ask those questions. But let's stick to English speaking culture for the moment. So what kind of questions are polite and which ones are not polite to ask to someone you're just meeting?
Someone you're just meeting. Well, I always thought it was polite to ask about people's work.
Mm-hmm.
I've later learned that there's a class difference with that. That asking people about their career or job is more of a middle and upper middle class kind of thing. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But I think in general, it's polite to ask people like what they do for a living or what they study.
Yeah, maybe a more general way to ask would be what do you do with your time, or what do you like to do with your time, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's sort of, if they're studying or if they're working or if they're unemployed, then they can just answer whatever.
Exactly. How about you? What are some go-to questions?
I don't particularly enjoy small talk, which is these sort of surface level questions about, how long have you lived here? What do you like to do on the weekends? Like, I don't know. It's sort of unimportant questions or very superficial questions. I try to get a little bit deeper. I like to ask about people's passions. So what they're passionate about, what they love doing.
How do you ask that? Like, do you just ask, what are you passionate about? Or do you ask it in a different way?
Yeah. I mean, I can ask that, or, sometimes I'll pose a hypothetical question and ask someone, if money weren't important, what would you do with your time? What would you dedicate your time to?
There's a lot of people who maybe wouldn't have an answer to that, because they're very career focused or just haven't given themselves the time to ask what their passion is.
Yeah.
Or they haven't found a passion.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think it's a way of maybe exploring someone's deeper thoughts or deeper ambitions.
Yeah.
And if they don't have it figured out, that's fine too.
I mean, there are the questions like, how long have you lived here? What, I always get the question like, why did you move to Spain?
Yeah.
But sometimes people, they get a little too personal right off the bat. Let's see, what are some questions that would maybe be too much all at once?
Definitely asking about how much money someone makes, someone's sexuality or gender, things that are really personal and that you probably don't need to know about someone right off the bat, and things that can make people feel like they're being interrogated as well.
Yeah. So sometimes we meet people who they don't have a filter, meaning they maybe ask inappropriate things. They're not like checking in their own brain before they say it, like, should I say this or not? They just pops into their head.
Yeah.
They say it. They have no filter. We might describe these people as saying like they're a lot.
Well, I think that expression or that label being a lot is it has a broader definition, right? So somebody who doesn't know how to interact socially, or who asks too many questions, or demands too much attention, or has too many qualities that you have to sort of balance and keep in mind, and they're sort of overwhelming as a person, that person is a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yes. We've all met those kinds of people.
Yes.
They're like resource draining. Like they drain
Yeah.
your resources of attention. Like maybe they ask a lot of you, or they're too loud, or they're too whatever. There's just like you spend a lot of energy on those people.
Yeah. For me, someone who needs to be reassured all the time, or like makes a lot of jokes that they need you to laugh at, like they need you to sort of back them up, like yeah, you're really funny. It's a lot. It's a lot. And another expression we use to describe someone like that is extra.
Yeah, so actually this morning my friend, she's on a dating app, and she sent me a screenshot of this guy. He's shirtless. You know, she's like, usually shirtless guys on apps, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But, you know, he seems attractive to me. She's like, I need a second opinion. So I'm like looking at this photo, and I'm like, okay, like he's in good shape. He's got lots of tattoos. He's like in a swimsuit, you know, in a certain position. And I was like, he could be a bit extra.
Yeah.
Like my initial response was like, probably a little much, you know, needs a lot of, I don't know, like he's putting a picture of himself shirtless on a dating app, but he has all these tattoos, like for a reason, you know, he maybe needs like reassurance, you know, whatever he's about, like he could be a lot. He could be extra.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just basing it on a photo.
Yeah. Something that could be a lot. We also talk about like our work week, or, you know, a time of our lives. It's a lot, right? Like if you have a lot going on, you're studying, you're working, you're doing other things, hanging out with friends, you know, you might just say, oh, my life right now, it's a lot. Like there's a lot going on. So if you have someone in your life who is a little bit extra or a lot, tell us about them, as long as they won't get angry. What do they do?
A fake name.
Yeah, use a fake name, fake details. No, but everyone knows somebody like that. So we'd love to hear from you. Who is a little extra in your life?
All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you then.